Hey everyone, it is time for block 9. Do you like milkshakes? Hi everyone, Cristin here, and we are continuing with our 2 scoops bench pillow. So I don't know if I've ever had a milkshake. How weird is that, right? I know my dad used to really like milkshakes, but I don't think I've ever had one. I've had a root beer float, so I think I'll just pretend these are root beer floats. So tell me, if you like milkshakes, what's your favorite flavor? I want to know. So today we're going to do the Milkshakes block. It is block 9 for us, and it is on page 18. And we are going to go ahead and go over what we need for this block. So it's a bigger one, but the design itself fits on a 5x7 hoop, so we will talk about that. So we're going to start with our main fabric. Excuse my dog in the background. He thinks that he has found something. So this is the orange with stars on it fabric, and we're going to start with this at 10.5 by 8.5. Make sure and back this big boy with fusible stabilizers to ward off puckering. So 10.5 by 8.5, and like I said, it's the orange star fabric. That's our main fabric for our milkshake blocks. And then so for the Flexifoam, it is 8 by 2.5. 8 by 2.5. It's one large piece. I was thinking that I just didn't cut mine, but I did actually, my mistake. So 8 by 2.5 for the Flexifoam. And then for our whipped cream topping pieces, there's 3 of them, and they are 3 by 2.5. Now notice that 2 of them are a light cream color, creamy, silky solid, and then 1 of them is a very, very, very light pink. Yeah, very light pink, like a dusty mauve light pink. And all 3 of them, 3 by 2.5. I did back all of them with fusible stabilizer. That's optional. And I see I got a thread inside of there. So I have worn this on other videos. There's my timer. That means my ice cream is ready. Hold on. Okay, so I wanted to show you an alternative to ice cream. So this is a healthier option if you like juice. So this is V8 strawberry and banana juice. And look, this is the best part about it. 100% juice. So no additives, no extra sugar, nothing bad, really. So V8 juice. If you have an ice cream maker, put some V8 juice or like Honeycrisp apple juice that's anything that's 100% juice. Put it in your ice cream maker, set a timer for 13 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. And then look at, you get a nice little ice cream treat, and it's super yummy. So it's like a slush, right? It's so good. So just an idea. If you're trying to be healthy and not have too much ice cream, you could make some slushy drink. So if you are eating ice cream every day while we're working on our blocks, make sure you're getting some exercise, get out for a walk, make sure your jeans still fit. Otherwise you'll have to start wearing skirts. So anyway, I'm actually being pretty good. I eat like a bite or 2 of my ice cream. So anyway, back to what we were working on for our actual project. So what I was saying is that you want to make sure that you don't have a string against your fabric before you put on your fusible backing, because I don't know if you can see that, but I have a little string in there and it's staying in there because it's already ironed on. So be careful of that, especially ones that are light colors like this. So you want to be careful and check your fabrics before you put that fusible backing on to make sure that you don't have a string in there that is probably going to show up. I don't know if you can see that. I can see it pretty well. Anyway, so you want your 3 pieces of whipped cream topping. And like I said, those are 3 by 2.5. And then we have, I don't know what you call it. So the glasses, so the iron-on vinyl. So we used this for spring showers quite a few times on the umbrellas. And I have already ironed mine I do add fusible backing on the back of it, and then I will show you in photos how I did this, but it is basically just like how we did the spring showers. We put on that sticky topping down with the sticky part against the fabric, and then we place the paper topping on top of it, and we press it for like 8 seconds, and it adheres, and you have this cute little glossy fabric so that it looks like glass on our milkshake jars. So that will be fun. And like I said, I took photos of the process so that we can go through that. So anyway, we are going to quilt this, and whenever we quilt, we use batting. So I am using the Kimberbell Project batting, and our size for this is 9x7 because our final cut size is 8.5 by 6.5. We always use our batting a 1/2 inch larger or so. It doesn't have to be exact, but a little bit larger so that it will tack down. So 9x7 on your batting for this large block, and then we are going to quilt it. So when we quilt this, we are going to use, where is my note? Food 5. So food 5 in size 6x8, because our final cut size, like I said, is 8.5 by 6.5. So we want a quilting design that is 8x6. It's really 6x8. So one thing is, if you have our 5x7 hoop, you're going to have a little bit of difficulty on this, but not too bad. Let me just tell you. So I will probably show you on Embroidery Software just so you can get a visual, but you'll just do 2 hoopings. If you're using a 5x7 hoop, you would do, 4x6 twice. That would work because that would equal out to 8x6. So 4x6 twice if you're using a 5x7 hoop. If you're using a 6x10 hoop, then you could just take out steps 3 and 4. We talked about that on the very first video. Super easy to just take out those steps and place your fabric and then tape it in place instead of using a basting stitch. But that will make it so that it actually fits in a 6x10 hoop. So you have those options. If you've got a big hoop, then you'll probably want to use like a 7x12 hoop. That's what I'm going to use. But anyway, so we are going to make some yummy milkshakes. This one is really cute. And like I said, if you have a smaller hoop, a 5x7 hoop, the design itself, the milkshake design does fit in a 5x7 hoop. It is just the quilting. So to get that quilting, you'll have to either double hoop your fabric or, like I said, take out steps 3 and 4. And I think I'll show you on Embroidery Software just so you have a visual of that. And there is a full tutorial in the very first video. There's one for regular hoops, and then there's one for the smaller hoops. So anyway, I hope you are enjoying your ice cream or your slushy V8 juice. Super good. And let's go ahead and get started on our Milkshakes block. Hey everyone, so I want to give you a quick visual using Embroidery Software. So I am opening up Embrilliance Essentials. I have my 7x12 hoop selected. You can see it down here at the bottom. I'm going to go ahead and go to Merge Stitch File, and we are using Food 5 block by block method, and I use Pez for my machine. I'm going to open up the 6x8 design so that you can see that. All right, so this is the 6x8 design, the quilting design that we're going to use for our milkshakes block. So if you have a 5x7 hoop, you can see that this is not going to fit. The design is 6.5 by 8.5. So let me show you real quick while we're on this. So if you have a 6x10 hoop, this won't fit because of the 6.5, but there's a very easy solution. I've shown this in other videos. If you click on this third design, which is the placement stitch for the main fabric, and click delete, and then the fourth one, which is the basting stitch or the tack down stitch of the main fabric, click delete, and notice that the design itself now measures 6x8, and then it'll fit in your 6x10 hoop. So that's very easy if you have a 6x10. If you have a 5x7, you're going to need a double hoop, and that's very easy to do. I'll show you. So I'm going to go to File, New Page, and I'm going to keep my 7x12 hoop just so that you can see all of it, but you would do this for your 5x7 hoop. So I'm going to go to Merge Stitch File, and I'm going to do that same Food 5 block by block. I use Pez, open whichever format that your machine uses, and I'm going to open up a 4x6 quilting design and double click on that. So what I would do is I'm going to click on this and I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees. This little button here has it rotate. And then I'm going to move it up to the center of the design. So I want to show you something. I thought this was really interesting. I thought that I could just bring these in. I'm going to bring this just a tiny bit before that center mark. So the center mark, you can see the 0 here. This is the center of the hoop. So, and I'm using the placement stitch of the batting or the tack down, either one, as my guide to center, because this outer one we're not going to want to use, and I'll show you why. So if I hit, actually I'm going to change the colors real quick first. So I should only have to change 2 of them. You can see we've got a default 1 blue twice and a default 2 orange twice. So I'm just going to click on the second one and click on the color and then just change to this dark aqua, and same thing for the orange. I'm going to change it to blaze. All right. So the purpose of this is for color joining, but I noticed something really interesting that I haven't noticed before, surprisingly. And I don't know if it's because it's rotated. I'm not sure why it didn't work, but I want to just show you. So if I click on this design and I say Control C on my keyboard to copy and then Control V to paste, and then it will paste right on top of the first design, so I just grab it and move it. Now my goal would be to have this right on the center mark like the other one. So say that I did this here, and I wouldn't want these overlapping, but I want to at least show you something. So if I go to Utility Color Sort, I should be able to sort these 10 items. See right here I have 10 colors, and I should be able to sort it down to 5 because they're the same steps. So if I go to Utility Color Sort, and it says it reduced it by 1 color change. Isn't that interesting? I was really surprised. I did it repeatedly thinking, what is wrong with this? So I'm going to click New View just to see what it does. And if it only joined the actual quilting design. All the rest it did not. And I haven't had this happen before. So what I'm thinking happened is because they're joined, they overlap, I should say, they overlap. That is one thing. And maybe because it's rotated, I'm not really sure, but I know because it joined, or because it's overlapping. So I'm going to just say, no, I don't want that. That's not what I wanted to happen. So I just close out of that and it doesn't save it, and I'm back to my original one here. Okay. So now if I click on this second one and I just move it down, all right, so that they're not overlapping, and then I do Utility Color Sort, then I get my 5 color changes. So it just doesn't like overlapping, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I'm going to say New View, even though I know what it did. It joined all of those. And that's great, but that's not what I want to happen, because you can see now they're not together. So if my goal is this first design, see, I want it to look like this, where it's all just one big design, even though I'm doing 2 hoopings. I'm not actually, but for those that are. So this would not work for us to be able to move them like that. So I'm going to say, no, that's not what I wanted to happen, and I go back to my original one here. So just a reminder, if it comes up clear like that, you just click on the box and everything shows again. So what I would want to do is to join them very close to each other. But to do that, I have to take out steps 3 and 4 because, so let me just move it again so that you can see. If I take this and I bring it up to where I want it, I really want it like right here. Let's see if that's close enough. All right, so see how this step here, which is the 3rd and the 4th steps, it overlaps. And I can show you. So see, it's overlapping on our first one. And since we're putting down our main fabric, we wouldn't want that on top of that. So it's very easy. We just take that out. If you're not using software, you could just bypass it. It's very simple to do, to bypass that step. So I'm going to go ahead and take it out just so that I can see that it's gone on the 3rd and the 4th steps of both of these quilting designs. All right, so now you can see it's not really overlapping. So hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully it will join, and it's plenty close enough that it will work perfectly for us if it does join. So let's go ahead and try it. So Utility Color Sort, and it reduced by 3. Remember, we took out 2 of them, so it reduced by 3. So I click on New View, and then we have our placement stitch for our batting, our tack down stitch of our batting, and our quilting design, and that's perfect. So that was really easy to do. So I had not noticed that before. Excuse me. So I wanted to make sure to point that out. They can't overlap or it's not going to join correctly. So make sure that there's just the tiniest little gap in between, and then do a file save as, and you've got your 6x8. You can see it down here, 6x8 quilting design in 2 hoopings. So 4x6 twice, and that works perfectly. And like I said, if you have a 6x10, just take out that steps 3 and 4, and it should work fine on your machine. So that's the visual of how to get the quilting design if you're doing a double hooping. Okay, so next up we are going to use the iron-on vinyl, and it's very easy to do. A bunch of us used it in spring showers on the umbrellas, so it should be second nature to you, but just in case. So you want to make sure, first off, you cut it like I showed in the picture before. You cut it to the sizes for the 2 blocks that you need. And then you are going to take the top layer off. Very, very important. Top layer is the part that is the iron-on vinyl that we're going to use. Why is it always so hard to get these things opened up once I get on camera? Ah, there we go. Okay. So just like that, take the top layer off, and you can feel that this is the sticky part, and you're going to put that on top of your fabric. Let me move you over here. All right, sorry about that. All right, so this is our fabric. This is the top of our fabric. We are going to put sticky side down. It's very important. A few people on spring showers did it sticky side up and then ironed it, and it ruined their iron, ruined their iron-on vinyl, and had to buy more. So make sure sticky side down on the top of your fabric, the right side up of your fabric. All right, and then once you have that, you can see it's not the sticky side that is up because I'm touching it and pushing it down onto our fabric. So one other thing is I did back my fabric before with fusible backing, and then I put my iron on there, and then you have that piece that you peeled off. Remember, we peeled that sticky part off. So this is the back of it. This is the slick side. We're going to put the slick side down so that we have the paper part on top of the iron-on vinyl here, and we're going to use that to iron on our iron away, or our iron-on topping. And during that time, my iron has not gotten hot. Okay, so you're just going to iron that. It's really pressing it. You're supposed to press it. I don't recall exactly how long, but it wasn't very long, and you can kind of feel when it starts adhering. So what I did on spring showers is I stored it this way in my packets until I'm ready to use it, and that's what worked for me. You can prepare this as you start to work on your block, or you can go ahead and get it done ahead of time and then save it like I'm doing here. So I'm just going to store it this way. This works for me, and it's all ready to go. So when we do that block, I'll tell you when we do the block, but when we do, we're just going to take off this paper topping and it will be all ready to go. today I am wearing my sunflower jean jacket, and I will add a photo so that you can see it. It's Embroidery Library on the front and on the back, and it's super cute. I love jean jackets. I have several of them, and I have a couple more to embroider. If you haven't done one, it's pretty fun and pretty cute. So I will add a photo so that you can see it better, and a link under this video of the designs that I used.